The chairman, Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms, Taiwo Oyedele, has commended the House Committee on Finance for conducting the public hearing in order to allow Nigerians to contribute in having a law that will transform the country's tax laws and improve economic activities. He gave the commendation in a remark at the public hearing on tax reform bills held by the House Committee on Finance. The bills include Nigerian Tax Bill, Nigerian Tax Administration Bill, Joint Revenue Board Bill, and the Nigerian Revenue Service Bill.
We look forward to the opportunity to have some clarification when the committee is doing their work and anything that you want us to provide data and the reasoning behind the provisions will be ready to make those contributions. And so, therefore, we thank you very much for this opportunity and thank you to the Nigerian people.
Also speaking, the chairman Federal Inland Revenue Service (FIRS) Zak Adedeji said the engagement of Nigerians on the tax reform bill through the public hearing has given Nigerians the opportunity to understand the bills. In his remark, former President Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) Yakubu Chonogu Mekio urged the National Assembly to ensure that the proposed tax reform bills will serve the interests of Nigerians and make their lives better.
For me, it is just to remind us of something that we already know. Nigerians are expectant. Nigerians expect that arising from this bill will be a regime that will recognize their sacrifices, and also they would have an opportunity to see that the sacrifices that they have made in being a part of this process where they are asked to make contributions into the development of this economy, they will also see the result of their sacrifices. That is the expectation of Nigerians, and I know that Nigerians appreciate the fact that in this place, because this is the only place where this kind of business can be undertaken. There is no other place, there is no other person or authority that is recognized by the Constitution to make laws. It is only in this place that laws can be made. And Nigeria is a function of laws, and we exist because of laws. What we do are a function of laws. Who we are actually the functions of laws that we have in this country. And I know that these laws that we seek to bring into place will serve the interests of Nigerians. And I have no doubt in my mind that all that has been said by the stakeholders that have come to make some presentations here will be taken into consideration, because that will be reflective of the interest of the people of this country. And I know that this honorable house, the 10th House of Assembly, is motivated by the interest of the people of this country.
The Comptroller General, Nigerian Customs Service (NCS) Adewale Adeniyi stated before the committee that companies operating in Nigeria's free trade zones are violating the law governing their operations. He alleged that the companies are going into custom areas where extant tax laws are operational to conduct their businesses. Adeniyi was called on to make clarification on claims by Nasima earlier on Friday that tax and levies allegedly being imposed on companies operating in free trade zones by the Nigerian Customs.
What does the Customs recommend? What we recommend is a closer collaboration between Customs and NEPSA, and secondly, a review of the Enabling Act, which was last done in 1992, to see if there are emerging dynamics in the economy that needs to be corrected.
In their submissions, the Congress of University Academies Konoa, presented by Professor Issa Abdulrahim, proposed increase in value-added tax (VAT) as stated in Chapter 6, Part 1, Section 146 of the bill. It recommended maintaining the current VAT rate of 7.5% and broadening the tax bill to include more taxable items.
The union opposes the proposed increase in value-added tax (VAT) as outlined in Chapter 6, Part 1, Section 146 of the bill. Instead, it advocates for maintaining the current rate of 7.5% while expanding the VAT base to include additional taxable items that are not yet covered. This approach will prevent placing an additional financial burden on already impoverished Nigerians who are struggling under the weight of price inflation.
In a presentation as the Nigerian Investment Promotion Council (NIPC), which was presented by Uchenna Okonkwo, stated that contrary to the provisions of Section 167, Subsection 3, the NIPC, as the processing agency of the incentives and in the exercise of its statutory mandate of recommending priority sectors and products for incentives, should be empowered under this Act to make recommendations to the President for amendment of the list.
Then the next one has to do with the qualifying capital expenditure incurred or to be incurred subject to a maximum. So is a section 169, subsection 4. What it reads is that the application shall be accompanied by a non-refundable fee of 0.1% of the qualifying capital expenditure incurred or to be incurred, subject to a maximum of 5 million naira, and no further fee shall be payable in respect of such application. So for us, for the commission, we wanted to redraft paragraph 169 subsection 4 and insert a new paragraph 5 to read as follows. The application shall be accompanied by a non-refundable fee as may be specified by NIPC in a regulation made pursuant to this act thereto. Then 5, paragraph 5 should now read, notwithstanding the provisions of paragraph 4, the company shall make an annual payment of 1.5% of its economic development tax credit as service charge to NIPC.
The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, ABCON, whose presentation was delivered by the chairman, North Central Zone Thomas Okoye, expressed reservations over the impact of some provisions of the bill on their transactions. They noted that, coupled with the directive of the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) on the astronomical increase of the capital base of Bureau de Change Operators, further taxes would strangle their business and push many out, which would cause unemployment in the country.
Fear of generalization and multiplication of implication of the tax authority might extend their tax burden on licensed bureau de change as centralized by the regulated authorities. The exchange rate volatility in the market, if applied to licensed bureau de change, with these tax reforms, it will be transferred to the end users, if so be, because most of the transactions done by the bureau de change will eventually be transferred to the end users. It will worsen the inflation as we depend highly on importations. It will lead to unemployment, as we know, in increasing the tax on the foreign exchange transactions. So our prayers is that the exemption of the exercise tax on the foreign exchange transactions on the licensed bureau de change regulated by the central bank should be looked into.
Speaking to journalists after the close of the last section of the public hearing, Chairman of the committee, Representative James Falake, said that public hearing as part of legislative process provides a platform where stakeholders give their input, which will be incorporated to come up with a balanced legislation that incorporated important shades of opinions. He commended the stakeholders who made observations and suggestions as a group or individuals, agencies of government and private entities, as well as government agencies.
We believe that following the Constitution, the President has done the needful by presenting these bills to us to amend the tax, of course, and for us as members, as elected members of the National Assembly, House of Reps especially, we assure you that we will do the needful to this bill and give Nigeria a law that, of course, represents the views of all Nigerians.
Baba Sunday, Eagles FM News.